Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cruise Corner, a podcast by Cruise Trade News. I'm your host, Rashmi Narayan, and today I'm joined by Sarah Whitehouse, Trainee and Delivery Manager for Marella Cruises. Sarah, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Sarah's going to talk to us about all things about Marella today. So it's been a transformative year for Marella, as we know. And I think let's go straight into initiatives, of course, because I know one of the major new initiatives is about launching your cruise price calculator for customers, something I was very excited to write about this year. And I thought it was very revolutionary. And can you talk about it? Because we are going to also look into how agents can benefit from this AI calculator.
Yeah, of course. So it has been really transformative year for Marella, and one of the really exciting things that we've introduced is the new all-inclusive cruise price calculator. That is a mouthful. But the idea kind of really came from listening to customers. We found that a lot of people weren't fully aware of what's actually included in a Marella cruise, things like the flights, the transfers, meals, drinks, entertainment, tips, service charges, the fact that it's just in one really simple package. And in the kind of cost of living environment that we're in, people want total clarity on what holiday actually really costs. So the calculator was designed to make that comparison really simple, transparent. You know, you choose your destination, length of cruise, travel date, and the tool will just show what you typically spend if you booked everything separately versus what you'd actually get included in a Marella cruise package, which is amazing. And for many people, it's the first time they've seen the full picture laid out so clearly. So it's great for that. But we want to kind of demystify cruising to show the real value of an all-inclusive product, help both customers and agents have more informed conversations. You know, the impact so far has been really positive. And we're seeing a lot more engagement from people who didn't realise how competitive, you know, cruising can be, especially compared with a traditional land-based holiday or other cruise liners, of course. And it's helping kind of convert that curiosity into confidence and ultimately, well, into bookings, which is what we want. So it's a really simple idea, but it's been really powerful. And I think with agents especially, it's been fantastic for them to kind of get that comparison with maybe other cruise lines to really understand the value of a Marella cruise package.
I love that you said curiosity to confidence, because that, I think, as a tagline in itself was beautiful for an agent to sell, isn't it? And it also makes me think how this is great for somebody who's new to cruise or a cruise skeptic, because it's exactly what you said about hidden costs and all of that.
Yeah,
that is exactly what makes that curiosity or that skepticism, but it turns it into confidence because you then get to see exactly what you're paying for.
Yeah, literally.
Which is fantastic. And well, beyond that, what achievements or what other milestones have stood out for Marella this year from an agent perspective?
Yeah, I mean, we've had an amazing year, which I'm really pleased to say. So one of our biggest achievements this year was we launched the TUI Trade Hub. And this is our first ever trade dedicated microsite. It's been my baby for the past 2 years to get this live, so I'm really happy. It's been live for nearly a year now, and the site is to try and make selling Marella Cruise as easy as possible and give agents kind of tools that they can't get access to anywhere else and that they've never had before. And it's a one-stop shop for all things Marella Cruise. You know, we want agents to have the information at their fingertips and make it easier for their cruise bookings. And if agents need access to, for example, like a bar menu, so a customer's thinking, oh, what can I get at the bar? We can just show them that on the TUI Trade Hub. Or they want to book a specialty restaurant, but they're thinking, oh, what am I going to get to eat there? We could show them the food menu. Or they're looking at a beautiful junior suite cabin and they're thinking, oh, that one in particular, what does that look? We can show them a 360 view of it. So loads of tools on there, which is really, really great for them. And there's so much as well that helps just bring the product to life for agents. We've even currently got just over 3,300 agents signed up across the country on the site, and we see great engagement from it. So we've been really, really, really happy with that. Secondly, we had our first ever trade-wide incentive, which was Make It on Marella. That was back in March, and we took 25 agents out to La Romana, Dominican Republic. And that was on Marella Explorer 2, which is our adult-only ship for a 7-night Caribbean cruise. Can't get much better than that. So Yeah, we took them out. We wanted to give, the incredible agents who've been selling us, doing amazing for us, an amazing trip, and they got to fully immerse themselves in the product. And at the time, this was one of our new Caribbean home ports as well. So it was a great opportunity for them to see that. And the feedback was, as you can probably imagine, for a 7-night all-inclusive Caribbean trip, the feedback was great. But another trip we actually had really recently, just as of back in November, we hosted Premier Travel. It was their first ever managers conference, and we hosted them on board with us for 2 nights, which was amazing. They got to experience the product firsthand, immerse themselves. They definitely took plenty of time using the bar, which is great. It's one of the most important things, utilising that all-inclusive. We did training sessions with them on board, but that was their first ever managers conference. So it was amazing that we got the opportunity to do that. And then lastly, we've seen a massive increase in demand for training over the past year. So our team in particular was created back in 2022. We had been building, working on partnerships over the past 3 years. And that has been hard at times because there hadn't been a team there beforehand. So we're at a point where it's pivoted from we're here, notice us, hello, we're here to help, to actually working more strategically, breaking down them barriers that might have been there previously. So this year alone, we've delivered training to just under 26,000 agents. So that was a year-on-year increase of 17% from last year. So over the moon with that, and that's due to them partnerships getting stronger.
Wow. Honestly, I think those are some significant achievements, and it's absolutely remarkable. And I guess as with any big year, there's surely been both highs and challenges.
Yeah,
and
of course.
So I guess with looking back, what would you say were the biggest successes and the hardest lessons, and how have these been received? I know we've already touched upon a few successes, as we know, but I guess anything you can sort of summarize with the biggest and the hardest challenges in that.
Yeah, I think kind of what the last part was saying, how over the past 3 years, that's been us building as a team. We hadn't had a dedicated Marella Cruises trade team before, prior to 2022. And that is, still been a challenge over the past 3 years because there's been agents that we've not had the opportunity to reach out to before. And I think we're at that point now where, like I said, it's pivoted from that, hello, we're here to help you, to actually that them relationships have built really well over the past few years. And I think this year alone, because we've seen that increase in training, we've seen so many more opportunities like Premier Travel, actually getting to host them on board. We've never had them opportunities before. So I think that was a challenge that has now turned into something really positive. So yeah, we're over the moon with that.
What a wonderful trajectory, honestly. And I guess from the post-COVID, boom that we've seen in travel, this is a great place to be in cruise, for sure.
100%.
What are you looking forward to then from a trade agent perspective? Let's look forward to the future. So in the next 12 to 18 months, what would you say you're looking forward to?
Well, we've got Make It on Marella round 2, which is really exciting. So in March, we'll be taking the top 20 agents, along with 5 wildcard spaces as well. And that again is a 7-night trip. And that's on board Marella Discovery around the Caribbean, all inclusive, just stunning. But the first trip was such a huge success and incentive for agents that we just needed to do it again. They loved it. It's a great incentive. And we love how competitive agents get with the leaderboard. It's just so fun. So yeah, that's really exciting that that's coming up. We're going to be back at Clear in Southampton in June. We're really looking forward to that. It's one of my favourite events of the year. The opportunity to get in front of that many agents in one weekend, you kind of can't ask for more than that. So we're very excited to see everyone there. And then lastly, we're actually doing some work with yourselves at Real Response Media, which is exciting. So I attended our first ever Cruise Challenge Roadshow back in September, and that was in my hometown, Newcastle, at St James's Park, which as a Newcastle fan made me very, very happy. And it was an absolutely amazing event. It was so much fun. For those that have been, will know what I'm talking about. If you haven't been, you'll be thinking, what on earth? But giant cruise Monopoly.
What fun, honestly.
It's genius. It's so good. So had the best time at that. So we went from doing our first one in September and we're signed up for another 3 this year. So we're really, really excited to be working with you again on that and watch the chaos of cruise monopoly all over again.
Get competitive.
Yeah.
No, that honestly sounds great fun. And as you said, I think, well, March, agents, if you're listening, that, keep an eye out for that wildcard entry.
I know.
You might be lucky. But I guess, well, before we wrap up, I want to ask from your experience, what would be the one piece of advice you'd give agents who are just starting out in the cruise industry? And then, this is going to be a mouthful from my side, sorry, and what would the benefits be for an agent booking their clients onto a Marella cruise? Like, can you talk about the extent of the line's all-inclusive offering?
So a very biased but genuine tip from me, firstly, is for any cruise, anyone that's starting off in the cruise industry, in travel, just always explore every cruise line's e-learning platforms. Like, that is the first point of call, without a doubt. And specifically for us, of course, that is our 2Trade hub. And if you're new to travel or the cruise industry, it's just an amazing way to learn and immerse yourself in the product. We have loads of videos on there that you can't really get access to anywhere else. And that really helps bring the product to life when it's something that you haven't seen yourself before. And on here, we post fam trip opportunities, and there is no better way to understand cruise than to go on a cruise. And I think in an ideal world, if we could take every new starter in travel onto a cruise, then we'd be laughing. It would be fantastic. But obviously, that's sadly not the case. So fam trip opportunities are posted on the Trade Hub, and that is without a doubt the best way to understand cruise and learn cruises, to see it for yourself. So get on there to keep an eye out for them opportunities. And then kind of lastly, again, without sounding too biased, but I would say if you're new to the cruise industry and you want to understand Marella Cruise, due to our all-inclusive offering, we are the easiest brand to understand. We say we're perfect for first-time cruisers because of that. And I think that's the same for kind of new to the cruise industry and travel. We're just easy to understand. It's incredible value. It's such a simple package, but an amazing product. So I always say, if you're new to travel, look at Marella first, because it's going to be the easiest one to understand, and it's so good. Again, not being biased, but it's true. So yeah, I would always say, look at the e-learning platforms, so the TUI Trade Hub, fam opportunities, and yeah, we're a really good brand to start off with.
No, that's beautifully said. And I think, as you rightly said, with FAMs, you can turn those experiences into selling points. And
100%.
Until you've been there firsthand, it's very hard to sit down and be an agent and be like, okay, why this? Why now?
Yeah.
But when you've been on the other side, that they just, those little experiences sort of help. And then, agents, if you're listening, you have it. I think this is really a guidebook of how to start out, really, and you couldn't have it easier. So thank you for that, Sarah.
That's okay.
And I want to say thank you for your time today, because it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. And if there are any last thoughts, any things to take away, now's your chance to just say it out loud.
Well, thank you first of all for having me as well. It's been lovely. But any agents that are listening, like I said, get onto the hub, and any opportunity to get on board with us, please try. We want to see you on them fam trips, get applying. We want you to make the most of the all-inclusive. So yeah, we'd love to see you there.
Thank you very much. We'd love to see you as well, agent. So yes, do listen in, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.